watching Just the News. I'm Amita Balachandra. We start off with our top story today. The RBI has hiked the repo rate by 50 basis points to 4.9% in an attempt to control inflation. Now, this is the second increase in 5 weeks. The RBI had earlier increased repo rate, its first hike since August 2018, to 4.4%. Now that has increased to 4.9%. Now, repo rate is the interest rate at which the central bank lends to commercial banks. Now, the Reserve Bank of India has also increased the inflation forecast for the financial year 22-23 to 6.7% from its earlier estimate of 5.7%. Now, the RBI has retained its growth projection for the country at 7.2% for the current fiscal. In the meantime, the World Bank has lowered India's growth forecast for 22-23 to 7.5% from its earlier estimate of 8% announced in April. Now, this is the second time that the World Bank has revised its growth forecast for India in the current financial year. In the meantime, an update on COVID cases in the country. It's on the surge yet again. India has reported over 5,000 new COVID cases after 93 days at 5,233 on Wednesday. So the above 5,000 mark is after 93 days. It's 41% more than a day ago. Maharashtra has been continuing to see a huge surge. Yesterday, Maharashtra reported 1,881 new COVID cases in the last 24 hours. In the meantime, the DGCA, which is the Directorate General of Civil Aviation, has issued new COVID rules for aircrafts and airports, making masks mandatory throughout the journey and allowing mask removal only under exceptional circumstances. Now, violators can also be put on a no-fly list according to this order. Now, in case of passengers, if they refuse to wear a mask and do not follow COVID protocols, then they can also be deboarded. At airports, the violators can be fined and handed over to security agencies as well. Trigger warning for people who are watching at this point. The next news story involves rape. We're talking about the Hyderabad gang rape case. The son of an AIMIM MLA has been named as an accused in the gang rape of a 17-year-old girl in Hyderabad last month. 6 people have been arrested so far, 5 of whom are minors and 1 is an adult. Now, on the 28th of May, the girl and her friend had gone to a pub in the Jubilee Hills area of Hyderabad to attend a party where she was allegedly befriended by the accused persons who later then gang raped her. According to the News Minute, Hyderabad Commissioner of Police said that the accused persons misbehaved with the girl and then trapped her. An update on what's going on in the state of Karnataka as far as the hijab row is concerned. The government first grade college, Upinangadi in Karnataka, has suspended 24 girl students for wearing a hijab. Now, Puttur MLA warned a strict disciplinary action if students violate the dress code that has been implemented by the Karnataka High Court. Now, lecturers have also been told to take a disciplinary action against students who continue to enter the classroom wearing the hijab. Now, earlier, if you remember, the Karnataka High Court had upheld the Karnataka government's decision saying that hijab is not mandatory in Islam. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court has expressed concern over the 1,456 postgraduate medical seats going vacant this year, despite the country facing a dearth of medical professionals, telling the Medical Counseling Committee that, and I quote, "You are playing with the future of doctors," end quote. Now, the court has also said that not a single seat must remain unfilled. Now, the court was hearing a petition filed by 7 doctors seeking a special stay round of counselling for 1,456 vacant medical PG seats that remained unfilled after the last mop-up counselling round for NEET-PG 21-22 ended on the 7th of May. The bench has said, and I quote, "Even if a single seat is vacant, it shall be filled and not allowed to be wasted. If students are not given admission, we will pass compensation orders against you for playing with the lives and future of doctors," end quote. In the meantime, the Editors Guild in India have issued a statement and said that the irresponsible conduct of some news channels has resulted in embarrassment for the country. They were referring to the Prophet Rao. This comes after Nupur Sharma, who is a former BJP spokesperson, her remarks against Prophet Muhammad during a TV debate. At least 15 countries have summoned Indian envoys to condemn her statements. In a statement, the Editors Guild has said, and I quote, "The incident that caused unnecessary embarrassment to the country could have been avoided if some of the TV outlets had been mindful of the nation's constitutional commitment to secularism, as well as the journalistic ethics and guidelines that the Press Council of India has issued to handle a volatile communal situation," end quote. Moving on to business news right now, the Reserve Bank of India today announced that credit cards will now be allowed to be linked with the UPI accounts as well. Now, the implementation will begin with the indigenous RuPay credit cards, followed by other card networks such as Visa and MasterCard. Until now, customers could only link their debit cards to UPI. On to environment news right now. The Commission for Air Quality Management has banned the use of coal for all purposes in Delhi-NCR from the 1st of January 2023 onwards. Now, however, it has exempted the use of low sulfur coal in thermal power plants in the region. Now, use of coal in regions where PNG supply is available will be banned from the 1st of October 2022. Around 1.7 million tons of coal is used annually in industrial applications in NCR, with about 1.4 million tons being consumed in 6 major industrial districts alone. Now, Delhi has also topped the list in several reports across the country in being one of the world's most polluted cities. On to sports news right now. India's women's ODI captain Mithali Raj has announced her retirement from all forms of international cricket after a career spanning nearly 23 years. Now, the 39-year-old had retired from the T20 format in 2019. Her career now spans with a record 7,805 runs from 233 ODIs, the most in the format. And one piece of good news before we wrap things up here on this bulletin: Tokyo Paralympics gold medalist Avani Lekhara has won gold at the Para Shooting World Cup with a world record score of 250.6 in women's 10-meter air rifle, standing SH1 in France on Tuesday. Now, the 20-year-old shooter broke her own world record of 249.6 to secure her spot at the 2024 Paris Paralympics. That brings us to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.